Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Books, Hooks and Yarns podcast. This is episode 2. I'm calling it the one where I spill my coffee. Not that I'm planning on doing that right now, but I already have today. I had to change my shirt because, well, it went everywhere. Thank you so much to anyone that watched last episode and has come back to watch this episode. I received comments and feedback. People reached out to me on Instagram. It was so lovely. And honestly, I just started this so I'd have a place to talk about my crafting, mostly knitting. That's mostly what this podcast is about, is knitting. There will be some sewing because I'm teaching myself to do that, but there isn't any this episode. I also talk about books, and normally I have a coffee and a book to share as well, or multiple books or whatever it is I've been reading. But today I have iced tea because it is 30 degrees here in Victoria and I've already spilt my coffee this morning, so I didn't think I would attempt to do that again. Alright, so that's what's going on today. Brings us to finished objects. I have one to show today, and that is the Pirates Cove shawl. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. Last episode I was only up to like here on this colour part, this colour block of garter stitch, sorry. And now it's done. It looks huge, but when it's on, it doesn't feel that big. It might be a bit hard for me to put on today because I've got my hair down and there's a lot of hair here. All right, let's see if we can, yep, there we go. So that's it. I love that I don't have plain bits here. I love that I've got this little plain grey bit here. But I love that I've got like the lace section right here with all the colours in it. Those stripes. I absolutely love it. It's going to be so good next year for yard duty when I'm back to teaching, because it's thick, but it's not too bulky, if that makes sense. Yeah, I really like it. It was only supposed to be 3 colours. I ended up using 5 because I just didn't have enough. There were only little 50-gram skeins and I didn't have enough to only do 3 colours. So I added the light grey and the dark grey because originally it was just supposed to be 3 different blues. It was supposed to be this blue, the dark teal and the minty blue. And yeah, I ended up adding the greys in and I absolutely love it. So it worked out beautifully. I had to do a loose cast off, which took forever because you actually, obviously, you increase on the first repeat of each row. It's an increase. And so I've had the max amount of stitches up here. There's supposed to be 4 more repeats, but I was running out of yarn and I really didn't feel like playing yarn chicken, so I just cut it a little bit short. But doing the loose cast off, I normally cast off quite tightly because my tension's quite tight. And when it said a loose one, I'm like, had to go painfully slow because that's the only way I could guarantee it was going to be loose and I wouldn't accidentally make it tighter than what it needed to be. So that's my finished object. It was my first time carrying colours up the side. Some bits are a bit messy, but overall I quite like it. And you don't see those bits. That's the bit that goes up against here anyway, so you don't see those bits once it's on. So the bits where I don't carry it, which is this, yeah, are perfect. So that's a non-issue. That's the part that hangs down. So at least that's a nice neat part. All right, that's it for finished objects. Progress. So the first one I want to show is one that I showed last episode. I literally just started it last episode and I honestly haven't made much progress on it, but that's because I was determined to get my shawl finished and that took way longer than I thought it would because I just kept adding more stitches. This is the Harvest cardigan by Tin Can Knits. Beautifully written pattern. I printed it out because I like to highlight and scribble and tick things off my things. So this is what it's going to look like. You can add buttons or you use a shawl pin or something to close it up, or you can, there's so many alterations you can make to the pattern, which I love. but I wanted to make just a nice open one for my youngest and my eldest daughter, but this one's for my youngest, because I think she'll just really love it. And it's perfect for this kind of in-between weather. Like today it's gorgeous. 3 days ago it was raining, so I just, yeah, if I can get it done this season, like in spring, I think she'll be very happy with it. But let's face it, I'm probably not going to. I'll probably get it done just as summer hits and she'll have no use for it, and then it won't fit her by next year. It would be just my luck. So last time I showed it to you, I was at this donut here. This gorgeous little thing is from Cozy Yarn Co. I'll put their information below. Sorry, that just hit my glass of iced tea. There we go, little donut. I'm using all pink things on this one because I did start knitting it for my Knitting Pink for October for breast cancer awareness. So that's a pink stitch marker I got from my Australian Yarn Club order for November as well. Alright, so this is how much I've gotten done. It is at kind of bolero sized at the moment. So there we go, that's the back. But I've put the waist yarn in for sleeves, which is the first time I've ever had to do that. This Cardigan's taught me lots of things. I've learned how to do a provisional crochet cast on, learned how to put stitches onto waist yarn. I've just used a cotton because I'm hoping that won't like grab at the stitches when I have to put them back onto a live needle. So yeah, it's looking pretty cute. I could just, you know, do a couple more inches and add a little bit more length to the sleeves and make it a bolero. She might get a bit more wear out of it if it's only small like that for summer, but I'd really like to do the full cardigan. So yes, hopefully I will have that finished by next episode. That's going to be my main project. One thing I want to know with it, I'm hoping someone might be able to answer this. This is an acrylic that I've gotten from Spotlight. It's called Modivera Starlight. And it's mostly acrylic. It's got polyester in it too, I think. And I'm wondering if I can block it. I'm not sure what the rules are on blocking things that aren't natural fibers. So if anyone has the answer to that, please let me know. Or is it just something I don't bother with? Do I just wash it and it will just do its own thing? I have no idea. So if you have any ideas, please let me know. That's that. I do have something else. This is my little elf project bag that I made out of a tea towel and a ribbon. That was my first bit of sewing I did with the sewing machine I got for my birthday. I do have half a finished object because I consider socks to be one finished object. I have one sock done. I knitted the first sock of this yarn for my daughter on DPNs. I did the heel and the gusset and all that stuff properly, and it was too small. So, and I'd measured her foot and everything, and I got so frustrated. I thought, I'm not doing a heel. I'm just going to make tube socks and it will fit for her for a lot longer because my kids' feet grow ridiculously fast. Actually, everything about them grows ridiculously fast. Sorry. And so I thought I'll do the tube socks. So I literally just did 10 rows of a ribbed cuff, 1 by 1 ribbed cuff, and I knit in a just around and around a magic loop. I taught myself to do magic loop so I wouldn't have to fiddle with DPNs because it was taking so much concentration to use the DPNs because there was very little stitches on each needle. So I just felt like I was constantly juggling needles and I didn't want to do that anymore. So, and then I did do 2 rounds of a decrease for the toe just to give it a tiny bit of shape so it wasn't like a complete square. And doing that has helped it just stick in that little bit when it's on her foot, and it just molds to her toes kind of perfectly now. So that worked out beautifully. She loves it. Only issue is we have floorboards in our house and they're a bit slippery, but oh well, she'll just learn to put her slippers on with them, I guess. And I have done this much of her second one. I wish I had known about Magic Loop a long time ago because there's not enough stitches in these socks to put them on a 9-inch circular, and the Magic Loop is just perfect for it. If I'd been a bit more confident, I would have just gone straight for a 2 at a time and done that, but I might do that with my eldest daughter's socks and just do them 2 at a time on the large circular. This is my little cow stitch mark progress keeper. Let's see if we can get that to not glare. There we go. He's so cute. I got that from B Doodads. I did a massive purchase from her shop when Fiberfest for New South Wales was on. She had a sale on in her Etsy shop, so I jumped on and grabbed a bunch of stitch markers because they're just too adorable not to. So that's it for that bag of little projects. I've just kept my daughter's stuff all together because I was like, I'm kind of switching between working on the two, and I kind of like having all her stuff just together there. Other thing I'm working on, I've just got a bit of a thing about socks at the moment, I guess. I'm not following this pattern exactly, I'm just kind of loosely following it. This is the Very Vanilla Socks by KBJ Designs, free pattern on Ravelry. The thing I liked about it is that she talks about using them for DPNs. That's, yeah, but I don't know, it's just sort of I guess a written reminder of basically the loose part that I have to follow for the heel, and I'll change it to be on 9-inch circulars because that is what I'm knitting my husband's Christmas socks on. So this is his sock. So far I'm still working on the leg of it. I just did this in one afternoon just so I could get started on it. That's my middle of the round marker. So yeah, I thought they might be too busy. That's why I thought if I start knitting them now, he'll tell me if he doesn't like them. Then either I can have them or I can just put them into the timeout basket, but he loves them. So, and this is what they will end up looking like completely by the time they're finished. So there we go, sorry. Kind of cute, kind of Christmassy, but not too Christmassy. This is the, I don't know how to say this, Flot Sock, Mississippi. I ordered this from Fiberific, I think, online. And it doesn't have, it's just a colour 1165. So yeah, it looks completely crazy and I love the pattern that it knits up into. And I've got my little green stitch marker from B Doodads because my husband's favourite colour is green, hence the socks. And I've just kept it in a bag from Cozy Yarn Co. It's made of waterproof paper, and it's got a zipper pouch and it's got a lining inside as well. And it goes over your arm, so I can take that to the park with me or wherever to do some knitting if I want to, which is perfect for socks because especially when you're doing the leg and the foot, you don't have to focus on anything. You can just keep knitting it around, which I love. Alright, so pop that back in there. That's his Christmas socks. I'm doing his, I'm doing my daughter's. I've still got my eldest daughter's and my Christmas socks to go. And it is the 10th of November today, so I probably need to get a crack on. I have 2 more to show you. This is my problem. I finished one object and I think I can cast on a dozen more now. I'll talk about this in a minute. This is, I've lost the pattern for it. Well, I have it, it's right here. This is the Free for All cowl. It's on Ravelry and it is by Webster Street Knittery by Jennifer Peck. This is the pattern. And I don't know if it's the pattern itself or the colour of that cowl that I absolutely fell in love with, but I decided I needed to knit this. And I guess it kind of reminded me of this Abbey Road merino, the Wind Cries merino. So this is a Spotlight brand of yarn, but it's like their more expensive one. So this is Abbey Road, the Wind Cries merino. They only come in 25 gram skeins, which is a bit of a pain, but it's 65% merino, 25% baby alpaca, and 10% microfiber polyamide. Polyamide? I'm never sure how to say that. Polyamide might be right, actually. It's supposed to be 4.5mm needle, but I have tried knitting with it, I've tried crocheting with it, and I just cannot get it. It's so fine, and I just can't get the right tension with it. So I decided to hold it double with another yarn. So this is just the 4 Seasons Marvel 8-ply 100% acrylic because I didn't want to go buy new yarn when I have the right colour in my stash, and this is just for me, so it's not like I have to worry about putting scratchy yarn on anybody. And amazingly enough, I know it's 100% acrylic, but it's not scratchy at all. It feels sturdy is what it feels. It doesn't feel rustic, it feels sturdy. And I have knitted with this before And even though I have to de-pill it and stuff, it does end up quite soft after, like even softer after a few washes. And being held with this, it just works out so beautifully. So this is just a dark grey. This colour is called black gold. On the labels it just has a colour, but on the website it's called black gold. And this is what they look like together while they're being knitted up into the pattern. I'll show you the right side. I'm just doing it on a small circular. Probably don't need to. You could do it on a... There we go. So it's a provisional crochet cast on again. So that's what that yellow cotton yarn is down there. There we go. It's kind of hard to see. Oh, there we go. You can see through the holes now. So it's got a bit of a lace bit in there. I absolutely love it. My husband thought it was khaki green at first because of the colour combination. But when you see it up close, you can see that beautiful black gold in there. And I think I'm going to absolutely love wearing this. By the time it's done, I would actually even consider making a jumper out of this. Because I think I will actually. I might do maybe the flax jumper or something from Tin Can Knits or something out of that, because I feel like I would love that. Yeah, that feels, it's so soft held with the merino and alpaca. Like, it's not scratchy to begin with, but it's even softer held with that. Sorry, I just have to rub it on my skin to see what it feels like. And I have a stitch marker in here because you have to mark your middle point. This is from Obsession Yarns on, she's on Facebook and Etsy. That's their Charmed symbol from the show Charmed, which I loved. So yeah, I thought I would pop that in there. And I'm holding all of this together. So this is holding the cowl itself. That's only 100 grams and it made a huge cake. A little 25 gram one, plus the pattern. And that is in a bag I just got from the Yarny Wombat. She's the Yarny Wombat on Etsy and Winnie Wombat on Instagram. And this is her medium project bag in the Winnie the Pooh fabric. She's just redesigned them so they're a little bit taller and there's a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? Interfacing in it. So it kind of stands up like a bucket by itself. So, but I like this one. This is perfect for me. I like that it's still quite squishy and will fit into a bag if I want it to. So look, just perfect. All right, and I actually ordered 2 bags from her. I have a smaller one. This is the small, which I just can't resist a good leopard print. So that's my small, nice and squishy. And inside I have a project I haven't started yet. This is going to be socks for me. They're not Christmas ones, they're just socks. I got this, it's commercial sock yarn, Fiddlesticks knitting yarn, 75% super washable with 25% nylon. That's what it will look like. That's the colour. That's the label. I got this from Stitchcraft and Wizardry when I did an order. I absolutely love that. It was so much fun to cake up with all those colours. And I'm even going to use a matching stitch marker that I got from Obsession Yarns as well. It's a little, I'll see if I can do this so you can see it properly. Just, there we go. It's a little, 2 little kitty cats on the moon. And it's all, yeah, see how it goes all purple and greeny and stuff? Thought that would be perfect to match up with my yarn. So look at that. All right, so I'm just going to, I originally planned on doing it on these just sock needles I got from Lincraft, which is another chain craft store here in Australia. So they're 2.75s, which is what the label says you should use for the sock yarn. I was just going to do it on those, but I went to Spotlight this morning and I found these. They are technically lace needles, they're not sock needles, but they are 2.75s on 100 centimeter circular. And I thought I could try doing 2 at a time socks with this because, well, hey, they're nice and pointy. And a lot of my sock needles I have at the moment aren't. Even my Chigu ones are not that pointy. These are nice and pointy. And I thought doing 2 at a time means I won't have a lonely sock just sitting there, because that's what I've got at the moment. I've made myself 1 sock before and it's just going to keep sitting there as 1 sock because I haven't made the other one. So I'm going to pop them straight into the bag as well, just to encourage myself to give that a go. So yeah, I'll do 2 at a time magic loop. I think I won't go even further and try toe up. I'll still just cuff down. But yes, look at that, all fits in beautifully and it's still squishy and fits in my bag. So that's perfect. I think that is it for works in progress. Alright, so this next section is actually something new that I didn't do last episode because I hadn't done this before. I am currently watching the Rosehip Chick podcast. When I find a podcast I like, I start at the beginning and I make my way through. So I've done that with Yarnhoarder, I've done that with About Ewe, and now I have others waitlisted, but I'm making my way through Rosehip Chick before I start any others because I commit to a podcast when I'm doing that apparently. I'm more than halfway through, but her name's Hannah, and she mentioned once, this would have been a good 4 or 5 years ago now, that she did some yarn dyeing with her eldest daughter using food dyes. And she did like a little mini tutorial and everything on how you can do that. So I thought I would do that with my daughters because it sounded right up their alley. They're both so arty and crafty and I thought they'll love it. And I was not wrong, they did. So I just grabbed some 100, no, they weren't 100. They didn't have any 100 gram skeins. They were 50 gram skeins of these 4 Seasons pure wool 8 ply. So it's 100% Australian wool, but they only had 50 gram ones because obviously being in Victoria, we've just come out of lockdown and I went the first day Spotlight opened and this is all they had on the shelves for a price I was willing to pay. There was others that I could have over dyed. So I just grabbed some white ones to over dye with the food dye. My eldest decided to do, she's almost 6, she decided to do red and purple. The purple didn't really work, unfortunately. There are slight tints of purple in it. It's not just completely red, but the red kind of overpowered everything. So she's happy with it, but it didn't quite turn out the way she wanted, but she's okay with it. And my youngest, who is 3, she's 3, not 2, did pink and yellow because she's a huge Emma Wiggle fan. So pink and yellow are colours in our house, always. And sorry, there's a bit of alpaca fluff on that. But the yellow merged with the pink a bit and made a bit of a pinky orange. She's got more of a sunset palette happening here and she loves it. So they're only 50 grams each. So they've asked me to make them some baby doll beanies for their dolls, which I thought was perfect because that's something they'll play with for years to come. I decided to give it a whirl as well. I actually did my first. I did mine I was just planning on doing one colour. So I treated the wool first in water and vinegar and then I popped it into a pot with some blue food dye. And it was starting to look really boring. That was the blue, that little strand there, that was the blue. And I just wasn't a huge fan. So I literally just left the wool sitting in there and I just squirted in some purple food gel, like food dye gel. And it ended up like this. And there's actually little bits of, if I can find, there we go, like ready purple in there as well from where the dye literally just sat on the wool because I didn't mix it in. I just squirted it in and left it to sit there. And I love it. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I did just cake them up because my daughters want me to start knitting on them this week. So I thought I will do that for them. And then there was some leftover dye from my youngest because they dyed them. I taped garbage bags down to a table and they dyed them on that so we wouldn't risk getting food dye everywhere. And I just used her leftover pinks and oranges and put a bit more red in there. And that's just a random little one. There's like actual bits of white and stuff still in this one, which I kind of like. So yeah. And then I thought I will skein up 2 50 gram skeins together and I will get myself a 100 gram rainbow skein done. And that's what we have here. So it is coming across a lot brighter on the camera than what it is in real life. It's actually really pastel and the bits that are looking great are actually more of a muddy brown. So it's still beautiful. Kind of looks like a tie-dye gone wrong. And I love it and I can't wait to knit up a beanie with it because I think putting on my rainbow, it looks like a grumpy rainbow on a grey and cloudy day. Putting that on as for a beanie, I think I'm going to love that. I only just learned how to do this, dyeing this yarn, so I was like, oh my gosh. Previously when it's happened to me with hand-dyed skeins that I've bought, I've just had to cake them up because I didn't know how to put them back. Look at that. Makes it so much easier, doesn't it? So yes, that's my rainbow skein that I hand dyed all by myself. This is just a hobby. I just enjoy doing this because, I don't know, I just love being able to express myself creatively with, yeah, different colours, which I think is lots of fun. So I did grab some 100-gram ones. This is a cream. They didn't have any white, so I'll over dye the cream with my daughters. I grabbed 3, one for each of us. We might do that this weekend because they really did have so much fun doing it. And I guess with the bigger ones, I can make them a beanie or a scarf or a pair of mittens or something. So that's it for the yarn dyeing. Alright, so now we get to talk about my acquisitions or my pretty new things. I have been trying to branch out and try different indie dyers because I think it's important to spread the love around and give support to small businesses, especially at the moment. One that I did order from this week, and it arrived this week, was actually last week, sorry, is Obsession Yarns. And that is run by Marie. Just grab her card here. Yep. So she's the one. I also got like the cute cat stitch markers. I found her on Instagram. She's just opened up her shop on Etsy, and I loved her yarn on Instagram, and then I went into her Etsy store and she had the most beautiful stitch markers. So I was like, well, now I have to order those. So I'm just reaching down to grab my bag because that's where I've put them all in. So I ordered a bunch of stitch markers from her as well. So I went for the yarn, stayed for the stitch markers. So I ordered myself quite a few, so I'll just prepare them all here. What I love about most of these is that she's put the clasp on them, but they also have the option of putting onto your needle as well. So I have these 3 that I ordered. So there's a pumpkin, which can also go on your needle, a shoe, which is just the clasp, and a witch's hat, which can also go on your needle. I love shoes. I have a bit of a shoe collection, so these are perfect for me. And I love Halloween, and my daughter loves spooky things, so that was a 2 for 1. And I got the charmed one that was on my cow that I'm knitting, and I've got 2 of the cat and moon ones that I'm using, one for my purple socks that I'm making. And then for her yarn, I couldn't go past this. It's a label, and the colorway is called Toffee Apple. Look at that. Look at the sparkle. Look at that. Can you see that? It's a bit hard to miss that glitter, isn't it? It's absolutely stunning. So it's 60% merino, 10% alpaca, and 26% nylon, plus 4% metallic. Pretty sure it's an 8-ply because I normally only buy 8-ply or 4-ply, so I buy 8-ply or sock yarn normally. There's 250 meters to 100 grams. And I don't know what I'm going to use this for because it looks too beautiful to unskein, but I'm sure I will find something for me. This is going to be for me no matter what. So that's what that one is. And because was one of the first so many numbers of customers that she's had since she just opened her shop, she sent me a free mini skein. My daughter, unfortunately, my 3-year-old, ripped off the tag, but the colorway is called Sea Witch, and it's just a little 25-gram skein of sock yarn. I'm thinking I'm going to use it for a contrasting cuff. I don't think he'll like it in a heel or a toe, but for my husband, if I do like a grey or a black sock or even a green sock, this could be an contrasting cuff, and I think you'll really like that. So that's what I'll use those for. Next, I've already shown you my project bags from the Yarny Wombat, so I don't need to show you those again, but the Yarny Wombat, or Winnie Wombat, is actually friends with the Stitchcrafts, which is Mike and Anna. You'll find them, they're Stitchcraft and Wizardry on Instagram, and that's their shop name as well. So if I find, actually it says welcome to Yarnia because they have like a yarn cupboard, like a yarn storage cupboard, and it's like a play on words for Narnia, so it's Yarnia. So I absolutely love their stuff, and that's all their details there. All right, so I decided to order myself a bouquet of sock minis because I love the idea of doing contrasting heels and toes, but I don't see the point of breaking into 100-gram skein of that to do contrasting heel or toe. So I thought I'd buy some sock minis to do that for. So So this is the Rydell High class of 59. So it's like all the pastel colours that all the girls wore in their dresses and stuff. Like, yeah, I absolutely love it. They have a picture up on the website with this in the listing, and it just suits it so well. This is on their Baby Elf base of 85% superwash extra fine merino and 15% nylon, and they're only 20 grams each. They get 80 meters out of each of them, so that works out pretty well. And I got them to go with, I've got other hand-dyed sock yarn I'll go with, but I wanted to get a 100-gram one that would definitely go with 2 or 3 of them, and I got this one. So this is the Beatrix Potter inspired collection. I'd forget my own head if I wasn't always wearing it, which is Jemima Puddle Duck, which is very me, and the colours are just stunning. There's blues, pinks, I think it's just blues and pinks mostly, but with the really light white colour as well. I thought like a lot of these colours are going to go with it, especially the blue and the pink and that little light purple. So yes, I got this because I figured it would be a good practice one, I guess, and it would go with a lot of these colours. So this is on their House Elf Liberty base of 85% superwash extra fine merino and 15% nylon. And the thing I love about Stitchcraft and Wizardry is all their play on words. I'm a bit of a word nerd, I mentioned that last episode, and they call it the House Elf Liberty because Dobby the house elf is freed from slavery by being given a sock in the Harry Potter movie. Spoiler alert, but he's given a sock and he's freed. So their sock yarn is House Elf Liberty, and this is Baby Elf because it's sock yarn, but it's like little. So I just love that. I love the way they market their products. And I do have the label off this one. I got this one. It's called Dementors versus My Little Pony on the House Elf Liberty as well. They're 85% superwash extra fine merino and 15% nylon. I've got the label off because I unwound it to show my daughters. And so it's this dark grey. It's not quite black in there, but there's dark grey. And then there's all these pops of colour. This is hand painted, I'm fairly certain. It's not just hand dyed, it's hand painted. It would take so much patience and time and love and possibly magic to do this. It is absolutely beautiful. So my daughters had fun going through and naming all the ponies from the colours they could find. So there's Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy and, did I say Rainbow Dash? I meant Twilight Sparkle, sorry. And Rainbow Dash was like all the other colours because she's every colour, and yeah, they had so much fun doing that. So that's why it was unwound. So that was it from Stitchcraft and Wizardry. It's my second order from them actually. In the first one, they actually sent me a free stitch marker, and both times they sent me free gummy bears, which is never a bad thing. All right, I think the only other acquisition I've made is those Addy lace needles, and I grabbed another 4mm circular needle because I find a lot of my projects use them, and I'm a bit tired of waiting for my projects to be finished before I can cast another one because I have issues like that. We are up to the final part of the podcast, which is where I normally drink a coffee, but A, I spilt mine today, and B, it's hot, so I'm drinking iced tea. I drink my coffee or iced tea, and I have a bit of a yarn to you. Yes, we yarn on a knitting podcast, and I talk about life and books that I'm reading. So the book I'm reading at the moment is My Dear Hamilton. I hadn't started it yet last episode, but this is a novel of Eliza Schuyler Hamilton. I'm up to part 2 of it. I only really started it in the last couple of days because I can't read and knit at the same time, so I normally knit and watch podcasts, but I'm loving it. Even if I didn't have an interest in the content, which I do because of the musical Hamilton, I would think I would still love it because it's superbly written. And obviously everyone has different standards for writing, but this is right up my alley. It's quick-witted, it's clever, the grammar is spot on, the sentences are well constructed. It's easy to follow, easy to read, and I'm loving it. The chapters aren't too long. I'm up to part 2. I read that much just last night and this morning. I did have to force myself to put it down to come record because I would have just kept reading otherwise. But yeah, there's 4 parts in it, so there's still part 2, 3, and 4 in here to go. But yeah, it was very easy to read that much in a very short amount of time. I highly recommend it. If you have watched the musical Hamilton and you're a reader and you would like to read it, I recommend it. It's great so far. I won't tell you what it's about, but it's great so far. And it's kind of, I do have to keep reminding myself it's not just a book about the musical. It is a novel. It's not based on historical facts. Like, they have weaved enough fact and enough stuff from the musical in there for me to be able to go, oh, I know what they're talking about, or oh, this makes it a little bit more interesting. So yes, it is very cool. I really enjoy it. So that's books. I do have another book that I actually ordered from my daughter's book club for school. It was only $3. Not realizing it was a novel this thick about a girl with autism. So that is on my to be read list. I will share that next episode and show you what the cover looks like and everything, because I don't have it here with me right now. I'm at my dining room table because my craft desk is a mess, and instead of being a responsible grown up and cleaning it, I just came and sat here. So, oops. Oh. I haven't had much time for reading or knitting or podcast watching. Although I'll put that on while I'm cooking dinner and doing stuff as well, so that's not too bad. Because I am finishing the last 2 units of my Master in Primary Education. I am a qualified primary school teacher. I did that by doing my Bachelor of Arts, where I majored in psychology and literature. And then I did my Diploma of Primary School Education on top of that. But I realised that the Master's was only 4 more units after graduating from my Diploma of Education. And it would open up a lot more doors, like leadership opportunities and stuff for teaching, once I actually am able to get back to teaching. So I figured I would do that, and I was finishing the last 2 units at the start of this year, but with lockdown and remote learning and having my daughters both home full-time, I decided to defer, and now I'm finishing it now. I do kind of wish I'd finished it then, because now I have to study through Christmas and New Year's, and that's not fun. They do give us a week off, but that week off ends 2 days after Christmas. So I have 2 assignments due on the 28th of December, so I'm going to try and get them handed in before Christmas. So I actually need to finish up here and go do some of that study before I have to go pick up my daughter from school, because once she's home, I'm back to mum duties, and study just has to wait until they're in bed, unfortunately. So thank you so much for sitting with me today and letting me chat about what I've been up to and what I've been making. Hoping to have a bit of sewing to show you next time. I did wander through Spotlight today and look at all the fabrics and get an idea of what I might like to do. And I've got some beautiful Harry Potter fabric that I would like to sew up. I just need to find some, I think it's calico that's inside this one, and I didn't realise you could use that inside of a bag, so I thought I might get maybe 1/2 metre or something, or 1 metre, to give that a go. These are like my standard of perfection for a project bag. So I know I'll probably never accomplish this because I'm just not that skilled, but it's the standard I aspire to. So I want to go from, excuse me for reaching, I want to go from this to this. Not quite there yet. Maybe one day. We'll wait and see. Only way to get better is to practice, right? All right. Until next episode, which will probably be in 2 weeks or whenever I get a chance to record again, I would love it if you all had as much time for your crafting as what you need. And I hope you all look after yourselves mentally, physically, emotionally, socially, because all of that stuff is important, and so are you. Bye.